Today was an important day. What we heard today was from a judge who's being very careful and very thoughtful about the right way to do this. But we also heard, again, a federal judge ask the government what evidence it had that Daniel Ramirez is a member of a gang or affiliated with a gang. And again, we heard the government say they don't have an answer to that. So what we saw today was a remarkable thing that, yet again, the government is trying to take away Daniel Ramirez's immigration status, his DACA status, and trying to deport him from the country because they say he's a gang member, even though they have not a single fact that that's so. And the government won't substantiate that at all, and they claim that no judge can even rule on it. No judge can even say whether or not what the government is saying is true. And what we believe that Judge Martinez will do is he will think about this hard, he'll read the papers, and we hope and trust that he will say, no, there is still rule of law in this country, and the government can't just make something up and punish a person based on that lie.
Can you explain why Judge Martinez was a bit confused as to the initial reason for the hearing different because of other legal developments involving the California case? Can you just go through the timeline of all these different cases and how they intersect?
Please. Luis, you want to answer?
Sure. So, when we were first asking the court to look at this case, we were asking him to get Daniel's DACA back. And so, because of the Inland Empire case that happened out of California, the government says it complied with that order by giving Daniel his DACA back. But 24 hours later, they issued a notice of intent to a notice of intent to terminate, saying we're going to take this DACA status back because you're a gang member. And so what we're asking for is for the court now to keep Daniel's DACA and for the government to not use the gang information now. So we're not asking the court to give Daniel's DACA back. He has it. We're asking him to preserve it and to keep him as he was before all of this happened. So that's one of the things that the judge had a question on is why you were asking him to give it back. He has it back. What are you asking for now? And I think we were able to clear that up for him.
And that's what he wants to talk about at the next hearing? Is that what he said this next hearing is for? To talk about restoring it for the duration of the lawsuit?
Yeah, so we're unsure if there's going to be a next hearing, but one of the things he wanted more briefing on is, with the relief we're seeking now and for the government to be able to give some response to that. And we appreciate that because we know that he's taking it seriously. We know that he wants to look at all sides, but we're feeling confident about the way the case is going.
And one of the things that I think the government has done here is it just keeps shifting the landscape, right? Initially, Daniel didn't have his DACA status. The Inland Empire case made the government give it back to him, but now they're taking it away, saying again he's a gang member. And so because of all that shifting landscape, the judge said, I want to know what's going on right now and decide based on what's going on right now.
Well, assuming you get the relief that you're seeking, what effect does that have on his immigration proceedings, the deportation proceedings?
So his removal proceedings are ongoing, and this is part of the harm that Daniel's been facing. Daniel and I have spent hours on immigration court. When we had an immigration hearing, we were there for almost 8 hours. When Daniel was testifying, close to 8 hours completely. After the judge hearing 8 hours, and after the Department of Homeland Security had every opportunity to submit evidence in that court, the judge specifically said, Daniel's not a gang member. He's not gang associated. We were there for hours, and we've prepped for weeks on this. And they had one of DHS's top litigators in the case, and they still couldn't prove it because they don't have anything.
And Daniel testified.
Daniel testified for close to 8 hours.
He was still ordered removed. What is the effect if you get the relief here? What is the effect?
If he is given his full deferred action status back, then we can go back to the immigration court system and say, look, he's now given this other form of relief. And so it may not take away his deportation order. That might be something that we might not ever be able to take away, but it will allow him to stay here, and it would make that deportation order not usable, at least during the time he has DACA.
So the government was arguing today that the ruling to remove his DACA status again has not been fully decided. What process, what happens there? Who's going to make that decision?
So that's one of the amazing things about this. They issued this notice of intent to terminate his DACA status, and they said, because you're a gang member, and who decides that? They do. The same people who issued it and claim he's a gang member, again, without any facts, get to decide whether he keeps his DACA status or not. And then even worse, they say that no federal judge, no judge at all, can review that. So they get to decide and no one gets to second guess them. That's their position. And we say that that's wrong, and we're going to ask Judge Martinez to also say that that's wrong.